Irreverent, entertaining, cool. You're listening to LA Talk Radio.
You're listening to the Chizme Talk Show with Jesse, Handsome Latino, Bubba, the Big Dog Morales, and Raquel, only on LA Talk Radio.
Well, good evening, Los Angeles. How's everybody doing tonight on this summer hot day? Hope you guys are doing well. Hope you guys are a great weekend and a great day today at work. It's been warm. It's been hot, and we want to welcome each and every one of you, starting here in our own backyard of Los Angeles, California, from Soledad, California, all the way to San Jose, Mexico, and nationwide. So we want to thank you, our listeners, for making the Chizme Talk Show your talk show every Tuesday, which is Taco Tuesday, by the way. You could never forget that. And we, Bubba, the Chizme team, and we just want to say thank you for todo el amor and cariño that you're giving us. We started this 6 weeks ago, and we're doing great. The ratings have been awesome, and I'll be sharing our guests that we're going to be coming on in August. I'm already booked for the whole month, and tonight, we have a special guest, and Pastor Jose Pep Montenegro is going to bless us with his testimony. He's going to share with us, what it was to be in a gang, what he went through and what happened, that transition, that change, that now he's a pastor and he's got a couple of degrees. He was telling me off the air, beautiful daughter, and, he has his own church now. And we're so happy for him. God has blessed you, Pastor. And we just want to say, thank you for driving out from Chino all the way to Chatsworth. And what a blessing it is to have you here tonight.
Yeah, thank you. Good to be here with the both of you.
Thank you very much for coming. That's a long drive right there.
It is.
It was a good journey, yes.
Yes,
it's worth it.
It's worth it. Thank you. I know we talked, and we, you shared a lot of things with me and stuff. Right. And tonight, the microphone, the listeners are going to be listening to what you're going to share with us.
They better be listening.
A show of hope and of
Call
love.
Somebody.
Listen.
Of hope, of love.
Listen, Linda. Listen.
and inspiration, because those are my segments, inspiration segments. And I know that you're going to bring some message of hope and of love to our audience and to our listeners. But for now, I want to introduce my good buddy, Bubba Bear, the Big Dog Morales. ¿Cómo estás, carnal?
What is going on? All my chismeandores out there, all my chismosos and chismosas out there spilling the beans on people. If you guys want to call in and spill some of the frijoles, do it. I love it. I love getting all the chisme out there. Let people get all upset. Oh no. But yeah. Besides that, let's get a little bit into sports. Right now, nothing's really going on with. There's a lot going on with the transitions with football and basketball and everybody making their trades and so on and so forth. Football is so close to coming in. I can't wait for them to actually make the rosters complete, and then they could just shut up and get to the football. It's right there. It's on the cusp. It's on the cusp. But for now, the Dodgers, I love it. The Dodgers have gone a slumping 2-4 since last week. Oh, man, that's hurting my heart.
Is it really?
Angels have gone a humbling 3-4 since last week when they swept the Dodgers 2-0 at the Dodgers home field. I gotta say, I don't care if they go 0-10. They swept the Dodgers. I'm happy. And for some things going on around the area, Saturday, August 3rd, at the U.S. Women's National Team versus Ireland. They're doing their victory tour here at the Rose Bowl, going down at 7 o'clock. So if you want to go out there and check that out, there's tickets still available. If you have young girls that are out there playing soccer and they're involved in the community, they want to get out there, and parents, take them out there. Take them out there and show this very, very, very once-in-a-lifetime team. I don't know if there's going to be somebody else as good as these players. These players have been extremely dominant. I talked about them a couple weeks ago. They're amazing. So even if you have boys in soccer, whoever, get them out there. This team is phenomenal. Have them go check them out. Also, August 4th, on a Sunday afternoon, Volume 2. Theater is playing at Stevens Steakhouse in Commerce. It's Steven Steakhouse Restaurant and Cantina from 3 to 8 p.m. Theater's an awesome band. I love Theater. I've seen them in concert a couple times.
Yep.
Awesome band. Check that out. Also, for people that haven't gone there yet, the OC County Fair is still going on. And it's going on until August 11th. Try and get out there. I wait for the LA County Fair. I never been to the OC County Fair, but I heard great things. Pretty much the same thing, but down in Orange County. I heard it's awesome.
Cool.
Anybody else? Anything going on in the week for you guys? Because I know my weekend was pretty boring. I worked all weekend, but we had a nice day at the pool. My friends came over, had some pizza, just chilled.
Yeah.
And that was just a busy weekend for us in towing. Thank you for everybody that broke down and gave us calls because we made money. All you tractor trailers that don't know what you're doing. All you drivers out there that break down for no reason.
Nice.
Appreciate it.
Nice. Well, I had a busy weekend myself too. On Saturday there was a concert at Fontana Park right there where I live. My hat goes off to these city workers, man, and everybody that works in recreations. They come out there, and these young kids, they're like 20, 19, 16. They're out there helping out, city workers set up these tents and putting up this big stage and stuff. And I was like amazed at all these kids just running around, putting tents up, putting stuff up, getting ready for the weekend. It was a busy weekend at that park, a beautiful park. It's got a beautiful recreation center. It's got a beautiful aquatic center. It also has a skate, what do you call it? Arena. Skate park arena for kids to go in and practice. And I guess there's a league also there that they're doing. Yeah, so it was really cool. That weekend there for Fontana Park was busy. I was there Saturday and was watching these guys set up and stuff. And the concert was amazing. It was really amazing. But before we get into our guest, I want to give a shout out to my good friend Vanji Nieto, who's listening from Soledad, California. Check this out, guys. Thank you so much. It's from Soledad, California. She has a bucket list, Pastor. Check this out. She has a bucket list of jumping out of a plane next month. So it's been on her list for a while. And she's going to be jumping out of a plane. Not sure how high she's going to be. Wow. But what are your thoughts about that?
Good for her. God bless her. I've heard of a few people doing that, and I've seen pictures of them doing that. Their face, the wind and everything. Yeah. And you just hope they land well. And God bless her, man.
And that the parachute opens.
Right.
Bubba, what are your thoughts on that?
On the bucket list thing, that is definitely on one of my bucket lists, but I will have to lose weight first because that is on my list. I want to do it, but I'm afraid with the capacity I'm at right now, I will hit the ground faster than I have time to pull a chute. So let's see how that goes. Eventually, I want to get there. I want to try it one time.
Good.
At least, how do you guys feel about bucket list, though? Do you guys have a bucket list? Are there things on your guys' bucket list you want to do?
I don't have any. Do you have any, Pastor?
I don't. I just do what I want to do. Like if I want to travel, I just plan it. If there's something I want to eat, I plan it. If there's a goal I have, I just plan it.
Is there places you want to travel still that you haven't gone to yet?
Yeah, I'd like to go to Disneyland. I think there's one is it in Japan?
Oh, the other what is it called? Tokyo Disney?
Yeah, I want to do that. Went to Disneyland in France, the one in Paris.
Okay.
So did that. I'm a Disneyland pass holder, so I'd like to go visit Disneyland around the world.
Nice.
That's about it. Traveling is good, man. Ireland would be nice.
Oh,
those are just. I've been to Europe a few times.
Nice.
But Ireland, I've not been to.
I've never been to Europe. That's definitely one of the things I want to do. I want to go to Europe.
Yeah.
I want to go to France. I want to see France,
Nice.
Italy.
Yeah. Good.
Nice.
Good
But I've
stuff.
been to Mexico. I've been to Cancun. I've been down. I want to go to Brazil. I want to go to Rio.
Okay,
Wow.
cool.
I've never been there before.
Nice.
Definitely want to go there. There's a lot of places I want to see, like just different places I want to travel. Definitely on my bucket list of things I want to do. Like I want to go to
so
Peru,
Yeah.
and I want to go to Chile and see all those ancient pyramids and temples and everything like that. That stuff is
Nice.
amazing to me.
Oh, yeah.
All that stuff.
Yeah.
Israel's on my bucket list.
I want to go to Israel.
I forgot to mention that.
Oh, yeah.
That's,
Oh, nice.
I really wanna
My
go
boss
there.
has been there. He went there on one of his missionaries from his church.
Yeah.
And I think we're gonna get into that when we talk about yours because
absolutely.
he's one of the members of the Calvary Chapel out in Diamond Bar,
Okay.
and he's been out to Israel on one of theirs. And it's just that's one of my lists right there.
Yeah,
I also
cool.
want to go to the Vatican. There's a lot of different things I want to see.
Yeah, I've been there.
Nice.
Beautiful. Vatican's awesome.
Vatican City?
The
Is it?
museum. Yeah, went to the city, went
Yeah.
to the museum there, and had a good time. It's just awesome, man.
There's a lot of places I want to travel that are on my bucket list. It's just going to see these
that's,
things and involve myself in their culture and just see how things work. Oh,
Sistine Chapel, the paintings up on the ceiling. Amazing stuff.
Nice.
And then like all of Asia, like Thailand, all those places.
Wow.
Cool.
Yeah.
So there you go,
Check that
Vanjie.
out.
On behalf of the Chizme team and Pastor Pep Montenegro, we want to wish you the luck and happy landings, man.
Best of luck, and then keep knocking off everything on your bucket list. Keep it up.
Mucho, man.
Keep it up. Live it to the fullest.
That's awesome. Well, at the end of the program, I will have, believe it or not, guys, I already have August. I already booked.
Nice.
Jimmy Reyes from it's the Old School 104.7. He's going to be on with us on the 13th. Good. A lot of followers of mine on Facebook were asking when, so on the 13th, and I'll share with you a little bit more about our upcoming guests. But for now, I want to introduce a good friend of mine. We've known each other for what, Pastor? 47 years, almost 50 years.
Yeah, since high school.
Since high school,
maybe
right?
Junior high.
Junior high, yes. Yeah. My good friend, Pastor Jose Pep Montenegro. He is the pastor of Calvary, Northeast LA in Highland Park. Right. And I want to give you a warm welcome.
Thank you.
And how are you?
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you for coming out from Chino.
Yeah, exactly.
Right,
That's a long ride.
A long drive.
A long ride.
It is. Traffic was good coming over here.
Was it?
Yeah, I had some good music.
Well, you look
playing.
good.
Yeah,
you look good. You look healthy. You look young.
Thank you.
I
feel good.
You feel good, huh?
I hit the gym before I came out today, so I worked on legs and did about
leg day.
80 push-ups.
Get it.
Mira el pastor getting healthy.
Yeah.
All right.
Tomorrow's gym and then a hike.
And a hike.
Yeah. I mean, it's not like I always do it, but the gym I usually hit regularly.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, let's get right into it.
Yeah.
Let's get right into these questions. And again, we on behalf
Grill them.
Put them on the spot. No.
Right.
On behalf of the Chizme team,
Am I turning red?
We want to welcome you. We're looking forward to this.
Well,
right off the bat, share with us a little bit about where you were born and how many siblings you have. I know you have, and family members and all that.
Yeah. Well, there's a song that speaks about where I was born, and it was called Born in East LA. So I was born in Boyle Heights at General Hospital.
Boyle Heights!
Yeah, I was born in the old General Hospital.
In the old one?
Yeah, the old one. I know they got the new one.
The creepy one.
Right.
The haunted one.
I was just there at the new one, and it's remarkable. It's awesome.
Yeah, I went to see a friend of ours. He passed away, but in the new one. Yeah, about last year.
Right.
Yeah, born there. And then lived in El Sereno for a little while as a child, and then moved to Highland Park when I was probably about 6 or 7.
6 or 7
years of age.
Yeah. And then, wow, cool, awesome. And so I know that you are a licensed, check this out, my amigos. Pastor Pep is a licensed marriage and family therapist. Am I correct? Yes?
That's correct. Right.
When did you get was it a master's or what did you get?
Yeah, I'm a late bloomer, so I graduated in, I think, 2000 from Vanguard University in Costa Mesa, Orange County.
All right.
And then I got licensed probably, I don't know, 2012. What are we in, 2019 now? Yeah. Maybe 2012 I got licensed as a therapist. Or 2014. Anyway, it's all blur, but I did get licensed with the state of California.
Oh, blur, I don't know.
Yeah. So you can marry people too, right?
Well, I'm also an ordained minister.
You're an ordained minister, yes.
Now, yeah.
He's there from the beginning to the
end.
Right. So what do they say? You can marry him and you can bury him.
There you go.
Yeah.
Well, he's marrying you and getting you guys divorced at the same time.
Wow.
Yeah.
Nice.
Well, we hope that don't happen. Divorce is
we're hoping
an
not.
ugly thing. Man.
It's hard.
Yeah. Divorce.
And you also have a daughter, correct?
I do have a daughter. So shout out to Salinas. Selena. Shout out to you, mija. She works for. Can I say who she works for?
Sure, absolutely.
LuLaRoe Clothing. She's a designer, tactile. I guess that's the stars and whatever else they do, turtles and animals, and so she helps do that.
That's dope.
And she also was doing some illustration for Sandals Church for some of their books. She just finished that the other day.
Nice.
All right.
She's sharp, man. Really awesome. Her goal is Disneyland, to work for Disneyland as a graphic artist, designer, and all those type of things.
Right here down the street, the Disney Animation Studios right here.
Is that, there's that. Okay, there you go. So that's her goal.
Wow.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Really?
Or actually at Disneyland and maybe helping people. They do different programs to draw and different things like that.
Yeah, I
So-
know you guys
they do
travel
that
a lot,
on the
right? You and
California
your
Adventure site, they have like a little studio where people go in there and they do the animation.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like in front of them, they help them do it.
Yes.
That's correct.
That's cool.
So you know we've been
Awesome.
there, me and Selena, right? Love you, mija.
And then recently
awesome.
you were a supervisor for a mental and health wellness center.
Yes.
And a
Yeah.
team member of the Tri-City MHS. Is that correct?
Yeah, Tri-City Mental Health
Talk
Services.
to us about that.
I was the supervisor for the Transitional Age Youth Wellness Center drop-in. So kids that had a mental health diagnosis or did not have a mental health diagnosis, it was just a drop-in center. So we served young people, teenagers, 16 to 25 years of age. We have big screen TV, show movies. We had cooking classes, basic life skills that we grief and loss support groups. So many groups, over 82 groups at the wellness center, and the manager was Gamaliel Polanco. He's still the manager.
Oh, you're still there, huh?
Good friend of mine.
Right,
Yeah.
right. Awesome.
And that was in Pomona.
That was in
Was it
Pomona.
Pomona?
Right, right.
Oh, nice. Okay, my next question would be
And you grew up in Highland Park?
in-
I grew up in Highland Park, and I got busted for a few things, and then I went into a drug rehab program when I was about 15 and a half years old.
at what age did you become a gang member? Let's talk about that.
Well, I started smoking weed when I was 11. So at 12, I had a buzzed haircut, khakis, a white T-shirt, and became a gang member shortly after that. I was about 13, and I got jumped into
You got jumped in.
to the neighborhood out there and call it the Avenues. So
The
I got
Avenues,
jumped into Avenues.
Avenues.
I was about 13 years old.
How long were you a gang member for that affiliated gang?
I was from Avenues for about 3 years because from 13, 14, and 15 and a half is when I got arrested for Grand Theft Auto, weapons, and drugs. And the judge said, I'd like you to go to this rehab home, which is a Victory Outreach rehab home up in Hellendale, between Victorville and Barstow, right in the middle of nowhere.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they hit the trifecta early, Cole.
Yeah,
The
yeah.
trifecta early, sir.
Yeah. So I was there 9 months.
The
and-
judge was like, "Wait, how old is this kid?"
yeah. I was a minor in the program, and
Yeah.
they didn't do that. And all the other dudes were 18 and older. So I met a lot of guys who had been in the joint, Texas, different organized crimes, guys that had committed murders. But that was my goal. You know, when I'm 14 and a half, my goal was I'm going to take somebody out and go to San Quentin because that was the happening prison at that time. I'll work my way up there and get involved in the prison life and take my neighborhood to San Quentin. Not that it wasn't there already, but that was the goal, and that's what I was indoctrinated with. That's what I was told. You're gonna make it to the joint.
Talk to us about the
that
time that
was,
you were you went to go visit your dad in jail. How old were you when you
I
were
was a youngster. It was my biological father. He was in jail, and it was I can't remember which prison it actually was, but it was a low-level prison, and one of the guys there had a big old python. I guess they could have pets at that time, but he had a big old snake. And I was a little dude there visiting my dad, and I don't know if it was San Luis Obispo, but it was a low-level prison.
Yeah, like one of those. What do they call them?
correctional jails?
Like low security. Like,
Yeah, low security.
Oh, was it?
yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, he had
Sort
done
of
some.
like Wayside, where it's like
Yeah.
not maximum security. They have like
Right.
lower level security where they have
Right.
more freedom.
Yeah, and I was probably about 3 years old, if I recall. But I remember visiting my dad, my biological father, in prison. Yeah.
Go ahead, Bubba.
Wow. No, I was listening to that. That's crazy. Like, that's a lot to take in, especially at that
Yeah.
age. You know.
And I
what
never
mean?
lived with my dad. He I was born.
Mhm.
6 months later, he was busted, and I forget if he was locked up for like 3 years, something like that. So I grew up without my biological father.
Yeah.
So Elvis Presley became my hero because I need a male role model. So Elvis Presley became my role model.
Oh, God, Elvis.
Right,
Jeez.
right. I mean, what? Black hair.
But yeah, you
good
bald your
looking,
head. You didn't.
and
get
all the women.
You didn't get the big hair like
No,
Elvis.
later we did.
All
it.
right,
Later
all right.
you did.
It's like,
Because
wait
in
a
the
minute.
70s, we still had hair. We didn't have, bald haircuts.
Yeah.
Still the cholos had a little bit of hairdo.
Yeah.
Combed it back.
I posted some pictures of you when you were
Oh,
a ganger
right.
back then with the bandana and
Right, right.
with some of the homeboys there. You
Right.
guys were kicking back by the wall. Can we ask you what your name was? In
Yeah,
your gang?
My name was Veneno or Poison. Yeah.
Poison?
They
Oh.
couldn't find anything else because it was like this name was taken, that name was taken. But one of my friends went to Florencia, and he met this dude from Florencia, and he had a certain name, and they said, "Hey, you have high cheekbones. You're skinny. You got that. Your eyes are sunken in.
Like a snake.
You look like a skeleton." So you ever seen the jars and they said the
poison?
skeleton poison? Yeah.
All
so,
right.
so that became my name. And then I got real popular with rival gang members because of fighting. Back then there wasn't a lot of shootings and stuff. Even though once in a while someone would pull out a 38 or a Derringer. But we would fight and get
Yeah, back
jumped
then
and-
they
yeah,
actually had balls. Sorry
Yeah.
to say, sorry.
yeah.
But yeah, that's pretty much
we
the
would
truth.
fight, and a couple of guys from other neighborhoods said, "Hey, that dude, he was tall, skinny, he could
He
fight."
could throw him. He could
Yeah.
throw him. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, when they had beef, they used to go out there and be like,
Yeah.
you know what, me and this guy, let's go, let's do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I got so popular because of the fighting, popular enough, and then a dude came looking for me with a rifle at Luther Burbank, and I happened to be at a ditching party, and these girls told me, "Hey, this guy, he came looking for you. He had a rifle on his lap in his car," and I didn't like that much popularity, so I changed my name to my real name, Pepe, from the Avenues. So
Pepe.
I don't know if that was a smart thing because I was saying, "Hey, this is who I really am. So if you want me, this is who I am."
Yeah, talk to us about the time that you said you were in a fight and these guys. I guess one of your homeboys was out and about, and you went looking for him, and he had a what on his neck? A machete or something?
Yeah,
Talk
we
to us about
were
that.
we were by the train tracks off of Figueroa, and one of the guys said, "Hey, I'm gonna step outside and I'm gonna go to the restroom," because we were at a party and there was another neighborhood there, and there was an uneasy tension because we really didn't get along with them, but it was a family thing that invited that neighborhood and invited our neighborhood. So this guy steps out, and it was taking a long time. So I was into the homeboy stuff. I mean, I wasn't really into the hyenas and the chicks. I was really into more of the being from the neighborhood.
Being
So,
the chingon.
Yeah.
You want to be the chingon, yeah.
Trying to learn how to be a tough guy.
Yeah.
Like I say, I was never the baddest dude on the block, but I was on the block. That's all I say.
Yeah.
So I went looking for him, and when I went out, he was surrounded by about 10, 12 dudes, and he was a tall guy. So I just saw his head like that, lean back, and I went into the circle. "Hey, what's going on?" And when I came up to my homeboy, he had a machete. The dude's had a machete to his throat.
Ouch.
And then I went in the middle, and I just said, "Hey, yes." And so I said the neighborhood, and then they said their neighborhood, and all of a sudden the dude put out a machete, put it to my throat, and he said, "Where are you from now?" And I still said my neighborhood. And then he said his neighborhood. I said my neighborhood. He said his, and for whatever reason, the other homeboy was very quiet, but I just kind of, I don't know why I tried to come in and try to be,
All right, you look back over
crazy.
like, you ain't say nothing, bro? You ain't say nothing?
Yeah, he was just quiet, and they just all the guys calmed down. They go, "Well, we're going to let you go," because of the party and this and that family. And I was very happy because in the neighborhood, I was always afraid. I was always looking over my shoulder, and you're going to get jumped. And do I have a knife? Do I have a weapon? Do I have a club? Do I have a chain? You always want to have something to defend yourself because you can't rank out.
Well,
I
the
mean,
thing
I
is, you
was
always
taught-
got to be on the lookout. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? You always got to be on that. And
Yeah.
that's something my dad taught me a lot growing up.
Right.
And my dad always told me my family will always be there for me. And
Yeah.
the family will always protect you. But the thing is, that's one thing I never wanted.
Right.
You know what I mean? My dad had his stories about him and his brothers and things they went through because he was from a neighborhood. And my other uncle was from a rival neighborhood. And they moved to the Ramona Gardens.
Oh yeah.
And they were from a different gang. So
Right.
and my dad went to Lincoln High School and with what was it? There's another gang over there, Rose Hills and everything.
Mhm.
Some guy from Rose Hill kidnapped my dad, thinking that he was my other brother. It was his brother.
Yeah.
From all the stories my dad told me, I always wanted to make sure that I always took care of myself and knew what was going on.
Mm.
And if I had I wasn't from a gang, I had a party crew,
Mhm.
and I wanted to make sure my crew was taken care of. So I knew when something was going down, you got to be ready for it. And that's something my dad always prepared me for was know the situation, know what's going down, and be ready.
Mhm.
So I never took that lightly. So when I knew something was coming up or something was coming out fishy, you had to be ready. So thank you, Dad, for everything you taught me on that.
Right.
Because for all the stories I didn't tell you about, when you finally found out, and you were mad at me for not telling you, you know why? Is because I didn't want to rely on you guys. I wanted to do my own thing, but you taught me so well I'm still here for that reason.
Good.
Yeah.
Good. Yeah.
Why do you think, Pastor, that kids and teenagers join gangs? What's the purpose? What's it behind? Do you know?
I know one of the things that was going on in my life is I didn't have a male role model. I did have a stepfather. He recently passed away. Really good dude, man. Taught me how to play the congas, and he just passed away a few months ago. He was there, but he wasn't my dad, even though I respected him. So I didn't really have a male role model that I could really emulate and follow. But the neighborhood was there. Guys were accepting of me, and I says,
Yeah.
"Wow, I could hang
Like a
out with these
belonging.
guys." Yeah, they, the whole Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Food, shelter, clothing, and then a sense of belonging and a sense of I am somebody. So when I was from the neighborhood, I had that sense of I belong. I'm getting food, shelter when I would run away, hang out all night, partying with the homeboys, and clothing, and a sense of belonging. And I really felt that I had caught on to something, man, that was real, and that was the neighborhood.
You also mentioned something about you being in the men's home that really
Yeah.
changed you. You
Yeah.
had some homeboys there
Yeah.
that shared with you things that happened to them.
Right,
Some
right.
had missing fingers, some
Yeah.
were shot.
Yeah.
Share a little bit about that and what they said to you and how that impacted you.
Well, after being in the neighborhood, I got busted, right, for those things I said earlier. So I went to this men's ranch, and as I was there in the men's ranch, there was dudes there that saw me as a youngster. They're the guys that said, "Hey, youngster, would you like some coffee? Black coffee." And I left the, drugs. Sounds heavy, right? Drugs. It was spray paint, weed, pills, alcohol, whatever came my way. Because when you're young, you'll take anything. You just take any drug. But then I got hooked on coffee. But it was these older dudes that showed me. One guy lifted up his shirt. He had 5 bullet holes and a big old scar. He says, "Hey, youngster, if you keep going the way you're going, you're going to be like this." And he showed me his terrible scars and bullet holes and the surgeries that they did way back then, just ugly. Another dude had gotten a knife fight. So he grabbed a knife and he lost 2 of his fingers. And he said, "I looked and I saw my fingers over here." And he says, "But yet I had to keep fighting."
Yeah.
So that happened. Another dude was missing an eyeball. Another guy missing all his teeth. And then one dude was paralyzed in a wheelchair. Real good dude, good fighter. They called him Boxer. And he was paralyzed because the guy that he was going to fight with, thinking he's going to fight, pulled a gun on him. So when this fella Boxer turned around to run, the guy shot him in the back with a .357. And me and him became pretty close, and I used to help him get in his in the bathtub, and then he'd bathe himself, and then I'd help get him out of the bathtub. So I saw these guys. I saw these dudes and a lot of dudes didn't know how to read that well. And I started, because I knew, like my little saying was, "Hey, I may be crazy, but I'm not stupid." Because I knew math. I knew how to read. I knew how to communicate when I needed to. And I knew things were wrong, but this is what I was involved in. So in the men's home, I looked at these dudes and they were telling me what they were telling me. And in some cases, even studies say that young people under the age of like 25, their brains aren't fully formed. I forget the exact age, but that their brains aren't fully developed. Also, they say that young people don't have insight, that you're not able to process things and to make good, clear decisions. Well, at 16, I had some insight, and I says, these guys are living this way. I was living that way. They're here when they're 30. I'm here when I'm 16. I'm 15 years ahead of these dudes. I don't need to lose fingers, eyes, teeth, get shot up, and end up in this program anyway if I live. These guys made it. So I just did not want to go through what they went
barely
through.
made it.
Barely made it, man.
Yeah.
Missing body parts, and education. So I just says, nah, man. I started processing that. And the big change was their stories. But the other one was they said, Jesus loves you. I said, Jesus, there's no God. Where's this God at? My family, I won't get into how my family was, but my family was involved in different things. And the family wasn't living well. But I said, no, there's no God. And eventually I said, hey, God, if you're real, like these guys say, then come into my heart, forgive me of my sins, like these guys say. And after that, I was still getting high in the rehab home. I would go find the chemicals and paints and thinners and this and that. But then this little, I was even smoking.
You were smoking, yes.
I would go to the store runs at the stores when they would have the cigarettes right on the counter. Here, buy this pack. I was still doing those things, but when I gave my life to the Lord, this little voice or this small voice inside says, "You don't need to do that no more." And I said, "Wow!" And I would put the cigarette out. I put the garra, the rag down. It's like I don't need a sniff.
No huffing.
No
more
more
huffing.
Wow.
So really, it was the stories, but also the spirit of the Lord speaking to me.
Nice. If you just tuned in, our guest tonight is Pastor Jose Pep Montenegro, pastor of Calvary Northeast LA in Highland Park. So hopefully you're being blessed by this, and you're getting something from this. And I just wanted to let you know that. Pastor Pep, took some time out of his busy schedule to be with us here tonight. He drove from Chino, California, all the way to Chatsworth. So if you're just tuning in again, our special guest tonight is Pastor Pep, Jose Pep Montenegro, and pastor of Calvary Chapel, Northeast LA in Highland Park. So
if you'd like to call in and have any questions or anything you want to say, our phone lines are 323-203-0815.
that is
Once
it.
again, 323-203-0815.
Yeah.
If you have any questions for us or the pastor, please call in.
Please.
How do you feel about the difference between youth back then when you grew up to the youth you see now? I see it as a major difference from the way my dad described it to the way I lived it, and I'm 36, to the way I see these youngsters now. And I just have a hard time with them understanding what their thought process is and how they think of things. And I don't get it. Like sometimes my dad tells me about how growing up in the neighborhood, it was like, oh, we got to protect our neighborhood from this neighborhood. And not only that, but when it came to certain things, it was bigger than, oh, we're from here, we're from there. It was like during the riots, he was like, everybody banded together. Like, no, we're not going to let them come and tear up our neighborhood. And everybody banded together against it. But then after everything settled, it was like, all right, get back. You're over there and we're over here. And growing up with me, I don't know. I just had more respect because my dad always raised us that way. My mom, my dad, and my whole family raised us to have more respect. And I would teach that to my friends to make sure they had the same thing when they came around us. But I just feel this younger generation is just totally out of touch with that whole respect aspect of how to treat people, or how like things like fighting. Like right now, like they're just like, oh, let's pick up a gun right away instead of back then they used to fight. And back when I was growing up, it was a mixture, and now it's just everybody's talking about guns.
Yeah. Right.
I don't know how you might feel or how you might see it from your aspect, especially growing up in that neighborhood, you in that area. Now you see all these young men and women out there.
Right.
How do you see this generation changing?
Well, I think if back then you mentioned it, there was respect. We had older dudes from the neighborhood that taught us certain ways to behave.
Yeah.
And I was the guy that would take orders. I go, okay, I'll do that. That's the way it's going to be. So I knew how to follow orders. So then what I did is I got my crew of guys, and I taught them the same thing that the older homeboys taught me. So I had a couple of guys that I was training. I was jumping into the neighborhood with another crew. So we were building this. We were very loyal to the neighborhood, to the name of the gang, and that we were going to make our neighborhood notorious and people will know about us.
Yeah.
But then in the 80s and the 90s, you had a lot of different things happen. You had cocaine come in the 80s. You had rap music started getting real popular, gangster rap. And I'm not going to sit here and start talking about gangster rap's the problem and that, I'm not even here to say that. All I'm saying is there was different factors that came in, the drugs, the music. Because what did we listen to? Sitting in the park, waiting for you, Sad Girl, Tower of Power. You talked about Tierra. I mean, it was a different kind of music. It was smooth. It was cool. It was laid back. It was firme. The low riders, the cars. And that's what I grew up with. But fighting, respect, or you need to fear me. Yeah. If you don't show fear to me, then we're going to get down. What are you looking at, Essa? So there wasn't a lot of guns involved. Today, you add the 80s and the 90s and you think of drugs now. It's not who has the baddest neighborhood, who can fight good. It's more now who's making money. So really, without getting into a lot of details, it's really about, you hear about somebody getting killed in the neighborhood. Many times it's not a rival gang. It's who owed somebody money.
Yeah.
So it becomes a money thing. It's all about the Benjamins. It's all about the money. Who's in charge of the money? Who's making money? That's what's happening now. And guys have told me that. So if you're a youngster and you want a name, you want a reputation, then you need to be somebody who makes money.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's what. Yeah, I kind of see that too.
Yeah.
But that's what we try and teach them. This. Right now I'm a coach, and I try and teach these boys that
Good.
get out of the neighborhood. Some of them are from there, or they were, or that family that was, and it's like, you know what? If you have older family members that are still from the gang, and if they're telling you that's your route to go, they don't really love you. If they're the ones that are telling you this isn't your life, this isn't what you want to do, then they're the ones that actually care, because they should know through everything they went through that they don't want you to go down that path.
Yeah. I used to say when I would do some gang conferences back in the early 2000s. I had something called Gang Outreach Educational Strategies and Training. So we'd have guest speakers there. We'd had Kilroy, one of the original members of a prison gang. We had Big Alaceves, who is one of the original founders of a motorcycle club. I'll say club because I know these fellas. We've had these kind of guys speak. We had one time Tony Moreno, the real Pac-Man. Sean Penn played him in Colors, the movie, but the actual Pac-Man was a Chicano dude, Tony Moreno. And we'd have these guys come and speak at the conferences and speak to people, law enforcement, gang members, and they would always talk to the young people. They would talk to the people that attended our conferences about the hope. There's a way to change. You don't have to stay the same way. And that's kind of my message too. It's like, hey, join sports, go to school, do the right thing, get your education. People don't see, why do that when I can make fast money? So change the heart. And that's what I get to do, man, is talk about what the Lord is able to do in somebody's heart. Because, you change their heart, it'll blow your mind. Like, I'm very committed to this cause of Christ. I'm committed. I'm willing, and I don't mean to say this, but I'll give my life for this. This is something worth living and worth dying for. So the commitment is still there. I still get to be committed to something and feel that I'm really living for a cause. And I encourage people out there, man, you want to live and die for something that's worth it? The Lord.
Why not?
Yeah.
Exactly.
What are some of the challenges you faced as a pastor? What are some of the challenges, and also how long have you been a pastor for?
Well, I was a youth pastor after I went back to high school. After the rehab home, I went to high school, and I stood in another program for 5 years, the Hacienda Victoria. So I was there for 5 years because I just did not want to go back to where I grew up, because I knew the draw and the pull, the call of the wild. Go back to the neighborhood, the alcohol, the drugs, the women, the girls. I was still a youngster. It's like, wow, man, girls. So after that, I was a youth pastor. We started something called Holy Hip Hop. We had Christian hip hop. Before anybody started it, we would do concerts. It was big in the 80s when Rock of the 80s was happening. Back in we were going to the Pico, the arena, and inviting arena? People. We'd invite kids, and we'd have thousands of kids come to our Holy Hip Hop shows. And so we spearheaded all that stuff. So anyway, I was a youth pastor. Then I was a pastor in Moreno Valley. And Moreno Valley, when it started, people, the bedroom city, a lot of people moved out of LA to go to Moreno Valley because the homes were cheaper. You could get a beautiful 4-bedroom house for like $120,000.
Yeah, they were helping people get houses out there. They were trying to move them out of the area to move out there.
Yeah, so they would take their neighborhood to Moreno Valley. Yeah. And then I went and pastored a church out there. So we had a good group of people, good group. But the problems were, again, it was the call of the wild, the neighborhood, the drugs, the violence, the atmosphere that was going on in Southern California. And it was hard for people
Well, because
to commit.
all the neighborhoods from here went out there and started a new chapter, and now they got to start their whole territory thing again over there.
And who wants to hear about the Lord?
Yeah.
We don't want to hear that, man. I mean, we're busy. I've talked to guys who I'm busy right now. And they were on their missions for their neighborhood.
Yeah.
So there's different obstacles, and of course, the obstacles in the church. And currently, we've been in Highland Park with Calvary, Northeast LA, for 5 years, and some of the obstacles are, people being unable. Some folks have mental health issues, and it's hard for them to make a commitment. Some people are on drugs. Um, some people are just new people. They say, "Hey, I don't know anything about this." So people give their life to the Lord, and then they're dealing with, and I believe in this stuff. I believe in demons. I believe in evil. So then you got evil coming at you. You're dealing with your thoughts. You get all this negativity. And Rudy Hernandez, he was one of the rehab home directors, one of the best as far as I'm concerned. Rudy Hernandez had a saying, "We've been wrong so long, we thought we were right." And people that come to our church today, they've been living this life of whether it's depression, anxiety, schizophrenia, uh, drugs, violence, domestic violence, in and out of prison. And they've been living it so long, and that's all they know. It's like, this is the way I am, man. What do you mean there's hope? What do you mean I can change? So last Sunday I spoke at the church, and I talked about that you have greatness in you. God is great, and he's in your heart, and you could do these things that you never thought you could do. I mean, I could do all things through Christ who strengthens me. So I'm telling a lot of my messages are Bible based, but encouraging people to reach for their dreams, to go for what you didn't think you could do before, because now you can. You can do these great. You can graduate from high school. You can graduate from college. You can get a job. Some people are in poverty, and they're like, "Wow, this is the way it is. This is my life." Well, there's hope. You can get that job. You can get that education to get a better job. And sometimes they say, "Oh, well, I gave my life to the Lord, and everything's the same." Well, just because you give your life to the Lord, it doesn't mean that now the gold dust is gonna fall out of the sky.
Right. He's took my bird and my bush, and what do you want me to give? You don't have to give. Just give your life to the Lord.
Yeah.
Live in it.
Yeah. And live life to the fullest. What did Jesus say? "Hey, I've come that you might have life and have it more abundantly." The abundant life. Like I deal with stuff. I could say that one of my biggest battles would be depression. For about 14 years ago, I had to deal with depression because of some stuff that happened in my life. 5 years of heavy depression, but I still went to church. I still listened to my pastor, Pastor David Rosales, Calvary Chapel, Chino Valley.
Yeah.
I still went to church, and I sat there, and I just kept listening. And before you know it, man, that depression started leaving me. And then I was able to start helping people again and get over, my negativity, my bad thoughts. But I still put up a good fight, I was gonna say a good front, but it wasn't a front. It was a good fight, doing my best.
It's a constant fight.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I dealt with that before. I have friends that are dealing with depression too, and it's a constant fight.
Yeah.
Like you're never out of it. You got to keep it, stay positive.
Keep it in check.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
You were just at a pastor's conference,
Right. I went to
Raul Reese's church.
Yeah, it was at Pastor Raul Reese's church, Calvary Chapel, Golden Springs in Diamond Bar. So really awesome speakers, man. Pastor Raul Reese was one of the speakers. My pastor David Rosales was one of the speakers, and some of the other guys. I can't remember all their names, but they were speaking.
Dale, I saw you a picture with Dale.
Yeah,
Pastor Dale.
Pastor Dale Goddard,
Yeah.
One of my mentors when I started attending Calvary Chapel, Golden Springs. So Dale Goddard.
Oh, you were there at the Golden Springs?
I was there for about 5 years.
5 years.
Yeah. Then I went to Calvary Chapel in Chino Valley with David Rosales. And then I saw some other friends, David Pierce and Angel, his wife, and Ian and Akimi. They pastor out there I think it's by Magic Mountain. So just got to see it. And these people are just down-to-earth people that are not, Bible thumpers, just people that are just cool people, man. Just down-to-earth people that they'll eat tacos, they'll eat burritos, they'll eat menudo, whatever, man. Just down-to-earth people, man.
How long was the conference for? A week?
It was 3 days.
Oh, 3 days.
It was Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Awesome stuff. And the focus wasn't focus on yourself. It was just, hey, if you have a church, you're a pastor, focus on Christ, not focused on material things or what can I get for myself as a pastor? How can I make the people follow what I'm trying to do? No, man, make the people aware of a Christ-centered church.
Yeah.
So it was just cool stuff, man. Really, really good conference.
Yeah.
Yeah, real good.
Wow. How's your search for your building for your church going?
Yeah, we were been looking for a building. We're trying to get a weeknight service. We do have a service tomorrow night. If I could plug this at
Sure.
Calvary Northeast LA
Sure.
in Highland Park,
Sure.
6114 North Figueroa Street,
Mm-hmm.
right across the street from the Highland Park Rec Center.
Mm-hmm.
So we have a monthly Bible study.
Okay.
So I'll be teaching that tomorrow from the book of Proverbs, chapter 3. But we do that once a month. So the other Wednesdays, we just kind of hang out at a taco stand out there or a coffee shop, and we do a little Bible study there. But we're praying for a building, and we haven't settled really or made a commitment or signed anything. So
You're taking your time.
we're taking our time. We're praying,
And
and
you
we
want to
wanna
stay out
see-
in that northeast area, right?
Yes, yeah, that's where I feel called, to that whole
awesome.
gentrification and
Yeah.
hipsters and gangs and Latinos, Spanish speakers. I feel we could be a good part of a blessing to the community of Northeast.
Well, let me tell you,
That gentrification.
you've been a blessing
Yeah,
tonight.
yeah.
And if you just
I don't
tuned
know
into
about
our
that.
program, the Chizme program, our guest tonight is Pastor Jose Pep Montenegro, pastor from Calvary Northeast LA in Highland Park. And also, Pastor, what is your vision and mission for Calvary Northeast LA, number one? And then I'll ask you some questions about some awards that you received, and
Oh,
I'll
yeah,
throw
yeah.
some names out to you, and you
Okay.
kind of give some answers to that.
Yeah.
So yeah. So
I-
and
I-
also the men's breakfast and women's breakfast.
Yeah,
Who can
yeah.
go to? Can anybody go to those? Or,
Yeah,
yeah.
I'll mention
Sure.
those. I think
Okay.
for us, we're really into at the church. There's about 4 things we're really focused on, and the first one is we want to make sure that we're teaching the Bible verse by verse. That we go through the books of the Bible, teach the Bible, not my own philosophy or my own vision or what I'm trying to do. What does the Lord want us to do? So we teach through the Bible. The second thing is we want to have awesome worship, music. Right now we have Vincent Facio. I don't know if he's listening, but we have Vincent Facio is our worship leader.
Nice.
The guy gets down with a guitar, and then I'm a simple guy behind him with a congas keeping a beat. So we're trying to get this good little sound, this good vibe. But the priority is not just a good vibe of the sound, but to really get a hold of God and worship God, like the Bible says in Psalms 100, to be thankful and to worship the Lord. So that's the second thing. The third thing is we want fellowship. We want people to have a sense of belonging, that whoever comes in those doors, man, that somebody's going to greet them, somebody's going to say hi to them, somebody's going to welcome them, shake their hand, give them a hug, and lead them to a seat. And then after that, we have free coffee and sweet bread and fruit after the service. So we meet Sundays at 1 o'clock at the same address I said earlier, 6114 North Figueroa. So we want the Word of God, we want worship, we want fellowship, and then we want to reach a community. We have a grief and loss support group that we hold at Coco's every Sunday at 11 o'clock. And this is for folks that have lost a loved one, maybe been through a divorce. Some people, their only friend could be their pet, and maybe they lost their pet, maybe they lost a job, maybe they lost something, or a person. So we have a support group every Sunday at 11 at Coco's on York Boulevard. I think the address is 5831 York Boulevard. So we want to provide services to the community. You probably heard that the police officer was shot recently, a couple days ago.
Yeah,
in
Lincoln Heights.
Yeah,
right?
in Lincoln Heights.
Yeah.
Well, that's part of Northeast LA, and it was kind of near the Highland Park area. So we're praying for the LAPD and the Northeast LA division. There was 3 kids, young adults, that were in a car accident on Pasadena Avenue and Figueroa, where one young person lost his life. A young lady was severely injured, and another young man. So we went to their car wash. We got to pray with the mom, and we would ask people out there to pray for this family. So we want to be in the community, man. We don't want to just be in our church and have our own little thing going on. And the other thing is we really we hope to start other churches. We want to have a church that is able to take care of itself, but we want at least 5 other churches within the next 10 years that we establish in the Northeast LA area that have the same heart to reach the community, to have good music, teaching the Bible, loving people, reaching the community in real ways that count.
Yeah.
We want to feed people. We don't have a homeless ministry, and that's not what we're going to do. But if a homeless person comes to our church, they don't have to worry about making sure they have money to buy food, because all our food, when we have something, it's free.
Yeah.
And that's just the way we do it. So so that would be more our vision and our goal.
Nice.
Yeah, we really want to be there for the community.
That is so cool. And I also read that you are one of the 103 most influential people.
Well, that happened a few years ago when I was working for the Newport Mesa Unified School District. I was chosen I think 3 times,
Wow.
one of the top most influential people in the Newport Mesa area by the newspaper, the Daily Pilot.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, so I was up there with some multimillionaires and some
Oh,
baseball
míralo,
players.
míralo.
That's what I'm talking about.
Wow.
Yeah, it was awesome. It was so to be recognized like that. That was awesome. The biggest thing though that I really enjoyed was the violence prevention program of Orange County, and it was dealing with violence toward children, domestic violence, violence toward children.
Mhm.
I got to be one of the recipients of that award. I forget the actual name of the award.
Was that the Orange County Ambassador Peace Award?
Ambassador of Peace Award.
Yeah,
Thank you.
very
Yeah,
good, yeah.
And I was there with one of the guys from Peter, Paul, and Mary. We were co-recipients. Remember that song, "Puff the Magic Dragon"? So I got to meet. I don't know if it was Paul, but I looked at him. I go, "Hey, man, I used to sing your song, Puff the Magic Dragon." And then I asked them. I go, "People were saying that Puff the Magic Dragon had to do with getting high or getting loaded." And he denied it. He goes, "Oh no, that was for it was a story about little Jackie Paper." So
No.
Were they were they brothers?
I don't know.
No,
I don't know.
No,
if
were they
were
two?
brothers?
They weren't brothers.
That I don't know. I
No?
just only know that one was there.
Wow.
So I
He's
got
like,
to
no,
meet that
no, it had
dude.
nothing to do with that. What?
Yeah, you know, no,
It was
nothing.
a dragon. It was,
Right.
It was a
So it made me
story.
feel good about him. So I felt good being a co-recipient.
Wow. What about the Angel Award and the Young Man of the Year Award?
That was when I was with Victory Outreach, the Young Man of the Year Award, just because I was really changing and improving in my spiritual walk in my life. It just I just got a hold of the Lord. So that was the Young Man of the Year Award. And the other one was the Angel Award. That was for a program called Treasures Out of Darkness. And the way it was explained to me is that one of our programs that we did, and of course with Pastor Sonny Arganzoni, who was my first pastor, and love Pastor Sonny Arganzoni. I still go to some of their events to this
Where's
very
he at?
day.
Where's he
out there? And well, he's Pastor Sonny Arganzoni Jr. is the senior pastor of the Victory Outreach in Chino now.
Oh, okay.
But Pastor Sonny Arganzoni and his wife Julie, awesome people. They do a lot of traveling now, and they provide vision for all of Victory Outreach International.
Oh my
Wow.
God.
But yeah, I was there, and that was with the TV program Treasures Out of Darkness.
Yeah. Then you also did something in Riverside County that you MC the annual May is Mental Health Month.
Yes,
Five different times.
Yeah, I think it was 4 times
4
within
times.
5 years.
Okay.
I was the MC for the Riverside County May is Mental Health Month. I was their MC for a big event, Riverside
Oh
County.
my
That's
God.
awesome.
That's
Yeah,
awesome.
it was pretty cool to be able to do that.
And what about the Floyd Myrick Award? You got that 3
Oh
times.
man, that was when I was that was in the 70s. I think that was 80s. I think that was from the I forget. That one was a long time ago.
I forgive you, Pastor.
I need to get some new awards. No, my reward now is in heaven. Whatever I'm doing now, the Lord will take care of me on that. But yeah, I got a few awards. Yeah.
Anything else you'd like to share with us? I know you brought some flyers of some information. Go ahead.
Yeah,
Pastor.
I
Go
just
ahead.
want to say
Go ahead.
if anybody lives in the Northeast LA area, and if you're not attending a church, or if you're looking for a church, we're very casual, pretty laid back. We don't point our fingers at you. We don't pound our chest and try to get in your face and tell you you're messed up or you need to change. It's a pretty casual thing. We teach the Bible, though, so if the Bible bothers a certain part of your life, well, then I could get it. I understand that, because every day the Bible bothers me in some way or another, my attitude or something I'm saying or doing wrong. I said, all right, I surrender. But I would like to invite anybody who lives in the Northeast LA area.
What's the address?
To our church. It's every Sunday, 1 p.m. at 6114 North Figueroa Street in Highland Park. So that could be a starting point for anybody if you want to come out. Once a month, we have a men's breakfast at Coco's at 10 o'clock. It's a small group of guys. Anybody could attend this breakfast once a month. And I have it here. It's the last Saturday of every month at 10 o'clock at Coco's on York Boulevard.
And you also have a women's breakfast.
We have a women's brunch. That one's
brunch.
bumping. Yeah, that's 11 o'clock. The women's
Wait,
brunch.
the men have breakfast, the women have brunch?
Yeah, they meet at 11 o'clock. And
All
they
right.
meet at...
They get the mimosas.
Yeah, they get down. We have the good, clean-cut American, Coco's, oatmeal and whatever.
Right.
But the guys are good. We get down as well. But the ladies meet at Via Sombrero right there in Highland Park.
Yes.
That's a good spot,
That's a good
man.
spot, yes.
So they bring 13, 14, 15 women that, we got 4 or 5 guys that meet. But the women are doing well. And then we have our Bible study that I mentioned a little bit earlier. And just, keep your ears open for us. Facebook,
Nice.
it's Calvary Northeast LA Facebook. I post some things on
Correct,
there.
yes.
But the main one is what I started with is Jose Pep Montenegro on Facebook.
Great.
Anybody wants to get in touch with me there?
And in these last minutes that we have, Pastor, any advice or anything you'd like to share to our listeners out in Facebook land in LA? What would you say to them?
I think one of the themes when I'm with you and now with Bubba here, it's like the thing I want to offer is that there's hope. There's probably somebody out there who's suicidal. There's probably somebody who's trying to get off drugs and alcohol. There's probably somebody who's in a gang or in a crew. The crews start in crews, and either they're going to have tag banging or they're going to end up being swallowed up by the bigger gang that's in the area. So I just want to encourage people that there's hope. Sure, you can get it in sports, you could get it in education, but ultimately, the hope that could be found in the Lord Jesus Christ. I just want to encourage people, not in religion. I'm not here to talk about religion. I'm here to just simply say you can have a relationship with God through Jesus Christ. And that's what the Bible says. And I believe that with all my heart, man.
Well, there was a transformation in your life,
Yeah,
and I mentioned that
Yeah.
in the little description there when I was
Right,
promoting your
Yeah.
Interview, and
Right,
you can
right.
see that.
Yeah.
I forgot to ask you, man.
Yes.
What was your favorite song when you were homies?
Oh, man. I was at church the other day, and I mentioned about how they were building the walls. In Nehemiah, they were building the walls. And I says, something about building the wall. And people was like, ooh. And I go, no, but with the bricks, you got to, remember that song, Brick House? Don't. So I mentioned Brick House. And after service, someone came up to me and says, man, I'm never going to hear that song, Brick House, with the I'm not going to hear it the same. But I love that song, Brick House, man.
Right.
I loved it. It was just a cool song, bro. And because I have memories of some of my friends who, one in particular, he passed away. He got killed violently. But I remember him being on we were in Primera Flats one time at a party, and they had these wooden floors in the old projects, and he was stomping his shoes to the song Brick House, clack, clack, clack. And I looked at him, I go, this dude, what a trip. And he was getting all the attention. And
Check out Pastor with his hands up.
it was
Órale.
great. Yeah. Well, I can't throw,
Got throw signs out.
Yeah. But so Brick House was it. Yeah, it was a cool song. Man.
Wow. Wow, Pastor, this hour just went and it flew by.
Yeah. How
And,
fun is this?
man,
Right?
this
Good
is
to
great.
meet you today, man.
Nice meeting
It was
you.
nice.
I
It
appreciate
today,
you coming
Bubba.
out.
It was
Yeah,
really
thank
nice.
you. Thank
It
you.
was really
That was
nice.
awesome.
It
Good.
was awesome. Thank you so much. Again, our guest tonight is Pastor Jose Pep Montenegro,
Right.
pastor from Calvary Northeast LA in Highland Park. He gave the address, the service times for you to go and meet Pastor
Yeah.
and go there and
Right.
be loved, like you always say. You will be loved.
Yes, that's right.
Bubba, any last words, my friend?
Just quick shout outs to some of my fellow coaches. I love everything you guys are doing out there. I know it's been a hot summer and you guys been out there working hard with your boys. Much respect to you and your teams. Shout out to Coach Nico Gonzalez and the Mountain View Vikings. Him and his boys are out there working hard, getting ready for the season. Our season's about to start in about 24 days. Our season's about to start. So we're him, Luda Montenegro, and the Crespi High School Celts right here down the street in Crespi. Cesar Trijo and the Mendez High School Jaguars, who we're gonna see in our season when Contreras goes there and whoops on you guys. Just letting just give you a heads up, it's gonna happen. And also, Coach Scott at Belmont High School in the Sentinels. You're a crosstown rival. You're our rivals, 2 blocks away.
Nice.
We're gonna get you. That's our Crown Hill championship. We're gonna keep it.
Awesome.
But you know what? Respect to all you guys out there, all the kids that make grade cuts. That work good in the classroom and other out on the field working hard. I appreciate you guys.
Awesome.
Stay strong, stay hydrated, and keep it up.
Awesome. And next week, just to close our show, we're going to have Anya Martinez. She's the CEO of Top Shelf Dolls Bartending Services.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So she'll be with us next week from 8 to 9 on your Chizme Talk Show on LA Talk Radio. I am your host, Handsome Latino, telling you thank you very much for joining us and listening to us. Until then, good night. And
Good
we'll
night.
see you guys.
Peace
Thank
out.
you. It was a great show.
Bye,
Thank you so much.
chismosos.
Woo.
Thank you, Jesse.